That will now move play over to player 2. We can skip the event phase so we don't have to worry about Toxin. And now we'll play the cards from our hand. We have 2 recruits and a commando. So they will give us 2, 4, 5 points. We have the sawfish, that's worth 3, that'll give us 8. And finally we have Corporal Carnage, worth 2 recruitment points, will give us 10. That opens up everything for us. We can still only get 1 because Bulkhead and Riveter are only 5, but nothing else is 5 or less. I think I'm going to go for Sundown here because I really like this tactical phase power. If we're in an air zone, after the Venom Leader is chosen, place the top 2 cards from your draw deck into play. So it would give me a couple of extra cards to do my attack with on a Venom Leader, so that would be extremely helpful. And there are 2 air zones on the board, so that's the route I'm going to take. So I'll make that purchase of 9, place Sundown in my discard pile. That leaves me with only 1 point, so I'm not going to purchase anything else. Now we have to determine if we're going to attack one of these active Venom Leaders, and I think we definitely should. I'm going to take a look at my hand and see where my best odds are. I've decided to take a chance and go after Tiwaz. I don't want to go after Toxin until he's gone, because Toxin would have 4 health, 5 defense, and 5 support if I didn't get rid of Tiwaz and the commander before we went after him. So we'll go after Tiwaz and we'll hope for the best. If we can take him out, we can eliminate that +1/+1 that he's been giving to every Venom Leader, and that'll give us a better shot at taking some of the other ones out. The starting health for Tiwaz is 4, which is going to be tough, but we still have a shot at it. And his starting defense is 3. Normally he would get 3 support, but he will get 4 thanks to the Venom Commander still being in play and having that global effect. I'm going to use Corporal Carnage as my leader. I know I won't get his support ability, but he will give me 5 dice right off the start. So we'll play him as our leader, and then for his support we'll have the sawfish, which will give us 1, and then the recruit, 2 recruits, and the commando will also give us 1 each. So we'll place our combat dice on each of our cards. So we got a pretty good start. We're going to get to roll 9 dice, maybe, depending on what his support is going to be. If his support is too strong, these 9 dice may not be very effective. Next, we have to see what his support is going to be. Again, we get to draw 4 for Tiwaz. And he's going to get some pythons. They're going to add to his health. And he's going to get a vehicle, the Sea Star. Technical phase, +1 defense. Well, luckily he's not in a sea space. Not that it would have mattered. Oh yeah, it would have, because we do have 1 vehicle. Oh, nope, some sidewinders, which means I'm going to have to discard one of my soldiers and dice. And finally, another vehicle, the Venom Glider. Lower the combat leader's value by 2. Wow. Okay, well this is probably going to be near impossible again, but it was almost impossible with Roulette and we still made it happen, so let's play this out. The pythons will give 1 health, leading it up to 5. The Sea Star is going to give another defense. The Sidewinders will cause us to discard 1 freedom support soldier. Now I'll choose to get rid of one of the recruits. And the card that I believe is going to really hurt us here, the Venom Glider, which would not have come out if it wasn't for the Venom Commander being out there, because that was the extra one. It's going to cause my combat leader's value to be reduced by 2. And that is very damaging. leaving me with only 6 dice against Tiwaz with 5 health and 4 defense, which means we need to roll a 4 or higher on 5 of the 6 dice. Let's give it a shot. Well, it's possible, but improbable. Here we go. Nope, I see a 3, and a 2. We only had 3 successes. We needed 5. We were unable to defeat Tiwaz. Failing to defeat him would take us directly into the retirement phase. I'll go ahead and retire a recruit from this player also. We'll discard the Venom support cards, refill the training ground, and it's another building. It's the USS Freedom. When this card is recruited, it remains in front of you. In effect, it does not count as in play. Recruitment phase. Vehicles in the training ground cost 1 less. So we have a couple now. This causes soldiers to cost 1 less. That causes vehicles to cost 1 less. And they're actually kind of clogging up the training ground now because don't really know if that's that useful right now. At least not with the cards I have in my hands yet. Discard the cards I played and draw a new deck of 5. And we're going to get General Steel, a recruit, the Predator, and then 2 more recruits. Well, not a strong hand, but 2. I know with him, if he's the leader, he's going to equal, well, if they all stayed in play, it would equal 5, which would be a pretty good leader. And then this may come in handy. We can retire one of these recruits and draw a card and may be able to bring it to our hand. We'll see. That'll move us over to our player that's our commander and into the event phase, and the global effect for Venom Leader Toxin will take effect. So we're going to have to retire 2 cards, which means we will lose a Sky Carrier vehicle and Mirage. So now we can draw our event. Hope it's not a Venom Strikes. Dial F for Freedom. Freedom Squadron makes a debut on a local charity marathon that is earning money for orphans. After putting on a stunning show, they help the charity raise lots of pledges. All is quiet. So that is gone, so we don't have to worry about retiring vehicles as they come into play. Now we'll go into the recruitment phase, and we'll play the cards from our hand. We have 2 recruits. They're worth 2 each, so that'll be 4. The Scorpion is worth 3. It's for 7. Striker 1 for 8, and Sledge 0. So we have 8 available. And I still don't have enough in my hand to use Nightshade's ability, which is after Venom support abilities have taken effect, have the final total of all combat dice from the combat leader and all support cards rounded down. So if I was rolling 10 dice, it'd be rounded down to 5. That sounds awful, but if you have a lot of dice, her combat phase ability adds +3 to the roll value of all dice. So if you can amass a huge amount of dice and let it get cut in half, you're guaranteed to roll at least a 4, because even your 1s are going to become 4s with that 3 added on. So she's a great have later on in your deck if you have enough high level cards to build a nice dice pool before it gets cut in half. Uplink has a pretty good ability. When you're doing the recruitment phase, you can discard any number of cards from your hand, then you draw that same number +1. And then we've already seen Bulkhead and Rivet. During the combat phase, you can re-roll 1 combat die and add +1 to the rolled value, which is a pretty handy thing. And then you can do it a second time. No, instead you add +2 if it's a C space. So I'm trying to decide if I want to go with Bulkhead and Rivet or Uplink. I'm not going to go for either of the buildings yet. I think since I have 8 available, I'm going to save Bulkhead and Rivet for the other player, and I'm going to go ahead and take Uplink and add her to my discard pile. And now make a decision on my ability to attack a Venom Leader. I've decided to go after the Venom Commander because his health and defense are low to start, even though he's going to get 5 support cards. I'm hoping it doesn't get too out of control and I can still have a shot at beating him, because he's giving everybody that +1 additional support, which really hurt us with Tiwaz. We would have had a couple of extra dice to roll and maybe would have been able to take him out. So I'm going to go diving in after the Venom Commander, and he's going to start with 2 health and 2 defense. Hopefully it's low enough that it won't build up and get out of control. I'm going to use Striker as my leader and everyone else as support. The reason I'm doing that is I want to use Sledge's combat phase ability as support. It'll let him add +1 to the rolled value of all of the combat dice. Striker's value is 3, and then we're going to add 1, 1, and 2 for the Scorpion. So we get to start with 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sledge does not get any dice, but he does have that ability. It's going to add +1 to all of our rolls. Now we have to deal with support for the Venom Leader, which is the Venom Commander, getting 5 support cards. First up, we're going to have another C star. It's going to give him +1 defense. Oh no, and he is in a C space, so we're going to discard our only vehicle, which is a Scorpion, losing 2 of our dice. That is a rough start. Next up, we have some Constrictors. Combat phase. Reroll 1 successful combat die and subtract 1 from the new value. Oh boy. Arctic Wolves. Another defense, but he is not in a Arctic zone. The Night Striker. Reroll all combat die with a rolled value of 6 once. If a second Night Striker is assisting, reroll all combat die with a rolled value of 5 once as well. And the 5th and final support card, we got some Pythons, and they're going to add 1 health. Unfortunately, Striker is our combat leader, and her ability to take a vehicle from the discard pile cannot be used since she's the combat leader. I would have been able to pull another one out of here and discard it instead of the Scorpion, like I'm going to do here in just a moment. Our first Venom support is going to give +1 defense, and being in a C space, it's going to cause us to discard 1 of our vehicles. Venom Commander's defense is now 3, and I must discard my only vehicle, which is the Scorpion, taking me down to 5 dice. The Constrictor's ability takes place in the combat phase, but the Arctic Wolves will add another defense to our commander, making it now a 4. The Night Striker will affect us in the combat phase, but the Pythons will add 1 health, taking the leader's health up to 3. So we have 5 dice, 3 health, defense of 4, and we may have to re-roll some dice depending on what the Constrictors and Night Striker have to say about it. But we do have Sledge's ability that lets us add +1 to the rolled value. We have 5 dice. Let's see what we get. That doesn't look too bad initially. During the combat phase, we would apply any Venom Leader's abilities that take place during the combat phase, and the commander does not have any. Next, we would apply any Freedom support abilities that take place, and we have Sledge, who is going to add +1 to the rolled value of all combat die. And the rulebook says that you actually change the face of the die whenever an effect either adds or subtracts. And you can go above 6 and below 1, you would just have to keep track of that. So the 1 becomes a 2, this 5, a 6, that 5, a 6, the 3, a 4, and then the 4, a 5. Then from left to right, we would apply Venom support abilities. The first one we come across going left to right are the constrictors. It says we have to reroll 1 successful combat die and subtract 1 from its new rolled value. And I know that I have the Night Striker coming up that says any dice that have a rolled value of 6 are going to get re-rolled. So let's eliminate one of those. We move these out of the way. We'll re-roll that 6, and then we'll subtract 1 from the new value. So that is very unfortunate. That now becomes a 3 and is unsuccessful along with this 2. The Venom Leader does have 3 health with 4 defense, so we still have him defeated, but we have 1 more card to apply. And now we have the Night Striker. It says reroll all combat dice with a rolled value of 6 once. So we have to reroll our 6. If we reroll it and it is a 4, 5, or 6 again, we will defeat the Venom Commander. If it's a 1, 2, or 3, we will fail. Nice. We are still successful. We have 3 successes with a defense of 4. The 4, 5, and 6 will do 3 damage to the 3 health, and we have once again defeated another Venom Leader. Our commander has been defeated by our commander. His card will go into that player's victory point pile. Let's see what our reward card is. Well, we still haven't received one of the 4 control cubes, which is not good. The Tale of 2 Ambers. Evidence in the facility proves that the theft of the new experimental laser core was masterminded by Viperous, exonerating Stryker's new girlfriend, Amber. This puts the Squadron 1 step closer to reclaiming their device and frees an innocent woman. During the recruitment phase, once per game, use this card to place any 1 Freedom Squadron soldier from your discard pile into play. Well, that card will definitely be useful. When we need some extra firepower, we can bring it from our discard pile. Now we go into the retirement phase. I'm going to go ahead and remove another recruit. Now we've removed 2 recruits and 2 commandos from this deck. I think I want to remove another recruit if I get the chance from this deck over here too. That way I can cycle through the stronger cards much faster. We will discard the Venom support row. Reset these tracks back down to 1 and 1 for now. Oh, I accidentally bumped the event track one of these times and reset it. It should actually be on 2 because we have 2 Venom strikes that already came out. We need to refill the empty zones. We have the captured oil rig empty. Let me grab it, put our new reward card in, see which leader is going to be on the captured oil rig. We have Backdraft. After a combat leader is chosen, discard 1 random Freedom support soldier from play. Well, that's tough, but she only has 2 support cards, which is good because the commander's not here adding support cards anymore. So that opens up some more attacks because those support cards can really hurt. So getting extra ones were really causing us trouble. We need to refill the training ground. We got Blind Sight. Combat phase. Count all combat dice with a roll value of 1 as automatic successes. Well, we definitely don't want to put him in this deck over here with Sledge adding +1 because there would never be any ones if Sledge was using a supporting ability. We could always use Sledge as a leader and then Blind Sight's supporting ability, but Blind Sight has a combat strength of 6 as a leader. That's a strong card. We'll go ahead and discard and draw 5 new cards. We have 3 here, so we need to shuffle. We're all set. Another quick mix. Draw 2 more. And let's see what we have. We're going to have a recruit, another recruit, the Hornet, which we can use to get something off the deck. Hollow points available. She can help get rid of Venom support. Wow, now would be the time to go after Tiwaz with this deck, because in the Arctic she can get rid of another one, and he only gets 3 now, so if he grabs a couple of soldiers, we can really cut his support down. And Sledge is back. We can use Sledge as a leader, use her support ability. I think we have a plan. And that's everything for our commander player, and now we're going to move over to player 2, and maybe we can launch an attack with Predator, General Steel, and those recruits. Let's check it out. Before we get started with this player's turn, you may have noticed that there are some dice that I have added to the board, and I've done that at the suggestion of one of the viewers, because if we look on the back of the rule book, there's this quick reference page that has the different phases and gives you the order to do things in, and there are 6 distinct phases. So what I've done for quick reference and to make it easier on me, I have placed these dice next to each of the Venom leaders. If it is a blue die, then their effect takes place during their turn only, as if I were combating that particular leader, and then it has the number of the phase that would take place for a quick reference for me. Here you can see a couple of yellow die. Those represent global effects that take place in that phase number. For example, here Toxin, you can see we have a 1, which is the event phase, and that's something we've been dealing with over and over again. And also over here on Tiwaz, a number 3 means he has that global effect that takes place during the tactical phase. So that was a great suggestion by our viewer to put some markers or dice out here to help keep track. That way I don't have to read the cards over and over again, trying to see if there's anything that I'm missing. Hopefully that'll make it easier for me to remember things, and it's a really good suggestion, so you definitely might want to try that on your own copy of the game when you're playing. One more thing. I am just getting back to this game now after having been gone for almost 2 weeks. So if it seems like I am going kind of slow or I don't know what I'm doing, I'm just kind of getting back into the flow. I watched the videos so I know what my plan was and what's going on, but I could still make some mistakes. And also I'm getting over the flu or a cold or something. So if my voice sounds weird or you see a weird jump cut all of a sudden, it's probably because I started coughing and I wanted to edit it out. With all that said, let's go ahead with our second player. We'll skip the event phase and go right into the recruitment phase. So we'll play our cards from our hand. We have 3 recruits worth 2 each, so that's going to give us 6 recruitment points. General Steel is going to give us 3 more for 9. And Predator is going to give us 1 more to make it 10. But he also has a recruitment phase ability. Retire 1 soldier from your hand, reveal the top card from the recruitment deck. If the revealed card is a soldier, add it to your hand. Otherwise, retire it. So we'll be taking a chance there. Do I want to retire one of my recruits and possibly short one? Because if it's a vehicle or a building, I'll have to retire it. But I think it's worth the shot. So I will choose, well, let me see here. Then I would have to do when combating Pitmaster. Well, that won't take effect. I can't use him as a leader if I use this supporting ability. And as a leader, he would be 4. And General Steel, if General Steel is chosen as a leader, he's equal to the number of Squadron soldiers. So he would be 4 also, even with the recruit gone. So I think it's definitely worth a shot. So I will use Predator's ability, retire one of my recruits to the retirement pile, and hope that this is a soldier. Oh, no, it's not. It's the Sky Carrier. Oh well, it was worth a shot though. Gotta take chances. Since we lost that recruit, it's going to drop us down to 8 recruit points, which means I can only buy 1 card, but it makes blind sight unavailable for me. I think now's the time to go for Bulkhead and Rivet, because their ability works well in the C zone, and I already have a couple of cards in this deck that work well in the C zone. If I had 9 or more, I would have went for blind sight, but that didn't work out for me. Now we'll move into the tactical phase and see if there's a Venom Leader we want to attack, and I'm going to make an attempt. I'm going to choose to go after Kamikaze. We're going to have to re-roll successes once, but his stats are a little lower. Hopefully he doesn't gain too many health and defense from his support staff. Kamikaze is going to start out at 2 and 2, but my little yellow die was a nice reminder that the global effect for Tiwaz will take place, adding an additional health and an additional defense. Kamikaze has no abilities that take place during the tactical phase. Now I have to choose my combat leader, which will be General Steel. And I'll put these 4 cards in support, even though Predator does not have any ability that's going to help us during the tactical phase. He still counts as a soldier if I put him in support, which will make General Steel's value 4. So we get 4 dice with him, and 1 die on each recruit. Kamikaze is going to get 3 Venom support. First, we're going to see Sea Serpents. Tactical phase, +1 health. And he's in an air zone, so that doesn't take place. Second, Venom Scourges. Lower the combat leader's ability by 1. Ouch. Oh no, retire 1 Freedom Squadron soldier of your choice from play. Well, that's in the retirement phase. Okay. And third and last, we have a Night Striker. Reroll all combat dice with a rolled value of 6 once. Oof, we are going to reroll successes. Might be a lot of rerolling here. We don't have any freedom support abilities that we need to apply. Now we will apply from left to right the Venom abilities. First we have our Sea Serpents. They're going to add 1 health, taking Kamikaze up to 4. The Venom Scourges lower the combat leader's ability by 1, which takes General Steel down to 3 dice. And the Night Strikers will take place during the combat phase. So Kamikaze has a defense of 3, so we're going to need 3 or higher to be successful, and we're going to need 4 successes. Well, we have 5 dice, so we still have a chance. 3s or higher are successes. Well, unfortunately, we only have 3 successes. We would have to re-roll all successes once. That would take us down to only 1 success. That is a miserable failure. We never had to apply the ability for the Night Striker. That did not work out, so we'll go into the retirement phase, and thanks to the Venom Scourges up here, we have to retire 1 Freedom Squadron soldier of our choice, and we'll definitely choose one of the recruits. Discard the Venom support, refill the training ground. We're going to add Tundra for recruit 0, 2 as a leader. Lower the Venom leader's health by 1. Ooh, wow, that's good. Wow, look at that. In the Arctic, instead, lower the health by 2. We need to use her to go after Tiwaz. Discard my cards in play. Draw back up. We only have 3 available, so we need to shuffle. Give them another quick couple of mix. And draw 2 more. Let's see what we have. We have a Commando. There's Selkie. Recruit. We have Sundown. And the Sawfish. Well, we got Selkie and the Sawfish. So it may be time to go after a Venom Leader in a C-Zone. We finished that player's turn. We'll move over here to our commander.